How you doing? This is Anthony.
What's going on, man? Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So, how's fight camp going for this fight?
It's going well, man. I've put a lot of time in over the years, but I really paid attention to my body and my needs for this camp. We've done a lot of different drills that I've never done before. That have to do with athleticness and explosiveness. Some things I was just lacking on over the past couple of years. So I feel more explosive than ever, more athletic. My striking's on point. My ground game is fluid as always. I feel really good, man. I feel real confident in everything, all my abilities.
Now, I kind of asked the crazy questions. You said it took a couple of years. It's been a couple of years, and you just started working on drills for your explosiveness. What took you so long to realize that was a weakness?
It wasn't so much that the realization that, I'm not the greatest athlete in the world. I've always understood that. I've had to work hard. But I think at the end of the day, it was pretty much that I had a few injuries I was dealing with over the past couple of years that really held me back. I tore my MCL. That was a process for sure. It took me about a year and a half to actually really get healthy again. And in the meantime, you can't do much. MCL is very important. So I think it was just a timing thing. I've been working on this explosiveness for more than just this fight camp, but I really wanted to focus on it. Really wanted to become a better athlete out of everything, and an all-around athlete, not just a one-dimensional type of guy or two dimensions. I want to be well-rounded and everything. So it really just came down to actually doing it. I don't think it was so much being lazy or anything before. I think I was just really ready this time, really focused on it, really put my mind to it, and, got it done.
Now, there's a little bit of hype behind this fight. There's been a little bit of trash talk.
A little bit.
Little bit. Does this make you want that fight even more?
Absolutely, man. I'm not the guy to run my mouth, to my opponents and, talk a whole bunch of shit. But when it's thrown at me, I'm not afraid to defend myself and put myself out there as well. We actually had a press conference Friday, which, when you finally get to see your opponent face to face for the first time, and you get everything that's sitting behind it, it starts a whole new mindset. So I've never been able to do something a week before the hand like that. Usually I've seen my opponent at weigh-ins the night before the fight or whatever. But yeah, man, I don't want to say I was agitated or anything, but I was definitely ready to go there. So I'm getting anxious for the fight for sure.
Okay.
Where do you think his animosity from you stems from? Because there's got to be something else than just, you guys getting in there to fight, because he's throwing a lot of shit out there from his shit talking.
I don't know. I really don't know. I have fought his teammate twice. Way back when I first started MMA, and then in a Muay Thai match a couple of years later, and that was actually where my MCL was torn. But I don't know if it's them feeling really confident that since they've already fought me a couple of times, they feel really good, or if he just has followed me over the years. I really don't know where it comes from, man. I don't think they have the right idea. I think I really, at this point, with some of the stuff he said online and the way he said it, I just don't think they understand how well I've progressed over the past couple of years. I think they still think I'm the same fighter I was, 2.5 and 4 years ago when I fought his teammates. So, I don't know if it's cockiness, confidence, whatever it may be, man, we're just going to put an end to it. So
now, you're emotionally invested into this fight. that can hurt you. Will you be able to contain that when you're in the square, you're in the octagon?
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, I'm emotionally invested into every fight I've taken, even as an amateur. I love fighting. It's a world where, emotions and physical activity, all the mental, everything comes together all at once. And I've really, one of my big things as an amateur was getting my mental right before anything else. So even through injuries, I'd fight. Nothing serious, but even through smaller injuries, I'd fight and make sure, I never pulled out of those things. I wanted to make sure my mental was right, making sure I could still be charismatic, have that veteran feeling, even if I'm not a veteran yet. I still feel as if I'm a veteran, in my mental, in my head. I can really take, the worst case scenario in the cage. I've done it before. I've been able to turn it around and turn it into a win for myself. So, this guy, he brings a certain skill set and everything. He hasn't really gotten into my head or anything with all this stuff that he said. It's more or less just, putting it out there. I'm glad he has, hopefully he'll sell tickets, but,
right.
I feel great, man. I'm ready to get in there and do my thing. I'm more worried about myself than what my opponent brings. I want to make sure I'm on my game, rather than him, coming out and bringing everything towards me. So,
talk to us about Spartan Sports, because at one point, wasn't it Jackson's MMA or?
Yeah. So basically, we were under Quincy Rice back at Jackson MMA. We had gone through some transitioning processes, and myself and one of our other students, Jeremy Wood, we decided that we were literally in the front of a junkyard in a old garage, turned into a gym, which, don't get me wrong, it definitely did its job, but it was hard for people to see where we were at. We weren't in a good area of Jackson where people could, really find us even. So me and Jeremy, we packed everything up and we moved downtown. We switched it to Spartan Sports and Fitness Center, just a better name, we thought, all together, bring more types of people, more business to the gym. And we've really rebuilt from the ground up. It's going really well. We have pretty much everybody that was training with us before is still there. And then we have, other guys as well. So we have not new coaching staff, but a more fluid coaching staff. Everybody's around, really bringing it together, working as a team. And we're just trying to keep, what Jackson MMA instilled in us going on and going forward. So.
Nice. Because, like you said, if nobody can see you guys, the gym's not going to make any money, and you guys are having to close it down anyway. So you guys made a smart business move to move it out more in the open to where public can see you guys. Yes.
Yep. And that was a big thing for us. It was just the visibility alone has brought us plenty more students, plenty more people. And it's not so far out of the way from, it's more centered within Jackson County. So more people are being able to make it in on a daily basis rather than, picking and choosing their days if they have the gas money or they have the time to drive all the way out. So.
Now, are you cross-training anywhere at any other gyms or?
Yeah, I've been out to Stars and Strikes in Livonia with Coach James Benetel, who is a striking genius, man. The guy knows his stuff. I would go out there once or twice a week. I've also brought, we have a lot of guys come in and working with us. John McDonald, who's a pro from the Hillsdale area, comes up. He's actually coming up tomorrow. We've had Terry Van Avery, who was my first professional opponent. He's been coming in to work. Chad, my teammate, is actually going up to Murcielago. We're getting work everywhere, wherever we can. Chad and I traveled a lot over the past year. Well, not last year, but last year. So we traveled a lot. We saw a lot of faces in Michigan MMA. So we picked up on a lot of stuff. So we've been able to really bring that together and work on things that we picked up across that year in Spartan Sports and working with our guys and even our coaches. they see new things. So yeah, I feel like I have a lot of work from a lot of different looks from a lot of different people.
Now, we know, of course, we have a lot of guests on the show, and most of them own gyms. My question to you is, what is more important in owning that gym? Is it to develop you as a fighter, or is it to develop fighters into championship fighters?
You know, as a pro fighter myself, looking to make a career out of this, I can say that it would be, you know, being me and, you know, building me as a fighter and having these guys around me. But at the end of the day, I opened this gym to give other fighters, or, you know, my teammates before, really give us all a chance at keep trying this and keep going for it. So for me, honestly, MMA was never, you know, I never even expected to go professional back beforehand. You know, I just take opportunities as they come, and opening the gym was an opportunity to keep the way we were training and the team together. So I think our main goal now is to build up who's around us, and that is why I cross-train. I can get, you know, other work elsewhere, but I also have a great coaching staff here at home that helps with everything I do, really always staying on me, making sure I'm working hard, making sure everything's nice and technical and everything. But yeah, man, it's a team effort. You know, the money at the end of the day for me isn't the end all. I think I want to build something more, develop young fighters. You know, we have kids classes starting here soon. I'm super excited for that. So I think it's just, you know, finding a good balance between the two, and always knowing where the gym is at. Because beforehand, you know, I wasn't able to see, you know, just being part of the team was great. But now, you know, I kind of have a little more headway on the team, and I make sure I keep my hands as off as possible and let everybody else do the job. And everything's coming together great, man. We have a great development going on. A lot of our younger guys are winning their amateur fights, or some of these guys are just now starting to really find the top of the amateur competition, or the middle top of that amateur competition, and they're having a tough time and struggling. But that's the wall that I think every amateur hits. You know, you start fighting tougher guys, and you have to open up and say, okay, well, what am I doing here? What am I doing there? And some of these guys are winning. You're winning their first titles and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just finding a good balance between the two.
Now, you're not. You guys have an actual head coach there at Spartan, right? Or is that you?
I'm sorry?
You guys have an actual head coach out there. It's not just you that's running everything, correct?
No, not just me. We have about four or five coaches at all times. We just got our boxing coach back, Coach Box, who's worked with Rich Franklin during his title runs. He's worked with some of the best guys in the world, Matt Brown, all kinds of guys. So,
see, Wilson, that's the thing with Anthony. He's not running the whole camp now, so he can actually focus on himself while running his school, but he's not overwhelmed by it. Like where you see a lot of guys, they take on too much. They're trying to get themselves prepared for a fight camp while preparing 4 or 5 other guys at the same time. You can't really. You don't give yourself enough time if you're getting other people prepared.
And yeah, you need to coach yourself. You know, I mean, well, you need somebody to coach you. So you know, I understand better now as the show goes on.
Talk to us a little bit about the Van Avery fight. I mean, that was a war between you two.
Yeah, we, you know, at the end of the day, me and Terry, we go way back. The first poster I was ever on in amateur MMA, Terry was like the main guy on it. So it was no disrespect towards Terry, nothing like that. But, you know, when his opponent dropped, the biggest hype train that they had going was Terry and his opponent. So for me, it was kind of a business decision at the last second. Like, hey, you know, this guy's got the most hype. Whoever takes this fight, there's still gonna be a lot of spotlight on it, just because of the hype train Terry created. I don't know if there's ever been a fight in Michigan hyped as well as Terry hyped that fight, by the way.
Oh, Terry knows how to sell a fight.
Definitely. So, you know, I'd seen that his opponent dropped, I never really stopped training, so to take a last minute fight wasn't going to be a giant deal for me. But we were worried about the weight. Terry walks around, I think, 170, 175, maybe even bigger. But he was cutting to 155 for the fight. I was about 165, 170 at the time, and I had about 2.5 weeks to get to 155. So, when you do last minute stuff, you want to make sure you have ample time to cut and stuff like that. Well, we had said that I could make 150 pounds. Terry said, okay, let's take it. So we kind of took it on last minute notice. Really going into it, I started really slow in my first round. I had no warm up in the back. We basically were waiting on the commission. It was my first time going pro, so we were kind of, scrambled compared to the amateur. Not much was different, but just little things, kind of me running through all the sequences they have. Took me a little longer than normal. So I didn't really get much of a warm-up. Went out there really cold. I really couldn't get my striking going at first. My timing was way off. Terry was able to check my kicks, block a lot of my punches, or get out of the way a lot of my punches. I'm not even sure I landed much other than maybe a jab or two and a body kick. In that first 2 minutes, we really stood. He was able to get the takedown. I shot up a couple of submissions, and he just did a very good job of stuffing everything I was doing. But when I went back to the corner in between rounds, I don't know what happened. My body was just finally awake, and I came out and we started standing again, and I was able to land a great straight left that I think really shocked him. I did go out in southpaw in the fight. I don't know if he was not expecting that or what. Normally I'm an orthodox fighter, but I'm able to switch. So I went out in southpaw for the fight just to hopefully set him off a little bit. And when I landed that straight left, I really think everything started coming together for me. My timing felt good, my confidence was in, and he ended up shooting, and I caught a guillotine on the shot, and that was it. So,
I mean, that was an awesome fight, an exciting fight, and like you said, it seemed like everything started clicking in the second round for you. Now you said Terry's going down there training. The fight with Mark Walker, you were saying that you fought Terry at 150 pounds. Now you're going back down to, is it 135 or is it 130 pounds this fight?
It'll be 135. Okay,
you're going back down to almost a more natural weight class for you. Is there ever a chance that we see you fight at 125 again?
I get this question all the time. As much as I love 125, man, it took such a toll on my body that I think I'm a lot bigger than the 25ers. I'm a lot longer for sure. But it's such a hard weight class for me to get to that I haven't made 125 in maybe 3 years now. The one time I did try, the only time I'd missed weight was actually for TWC back in 2014. I gave myself an 8-week camp, and I came as close as possible, man. I hit about 129.8 pounds, and I had nothing left in me. My lips were purple. I mean, my face was so sunk in. I looked like a ghost. So, maybe one day, I'll get back down there, but I really need some good time. Probably a freaking nutritionist or 5. So yeah, it's very possible, man. Maybe one day when the money comes around, or whatever that may be, I wouldn't mind trying it. I think just everything would have to come together and be worth that cut, because it does take a big toll on my body.
Yeah, because you're really long for even the 135-pound weight class. You're a long fighter.
Yeah, yep. I do believe I fit right here with the 35ers. So as an amateur, we took as many hard fights as I can and really prepped at 125. But my body also grew. I guess, I don't know, man, maybe I'm a late bloomer or something, but 24 years old. I think my body's starting to really grow, keep some muscle on. So yeah, I feel great right here at 135 too. I'm able to move and match most of these guys' strength for the most part. So
now, just to elaborate a little bit, do you want to dominate one weight division, or are you willing? It's acceptable for you to just take on any challenger?
I really think I'm the type of fighter. As an amateur, I really thought I dominated the 125 division for a long time. Not to say I didn't, have mishaps there and everything too, but I really do think I was one of, if not the best flyweights here in Michigan anyway, as an amateur. And, sometimes I honestly just want to have a fun, long career, man, if possible. So I'm willing to take fights wherever, obviously now I can get paid. So where the money is, I'd love to fight, fan fights. Just Friday, we were talking to Myra Malaki from XFC at the press conference. And one of the things he said was, guys, stop taking, and he did some air quotes and said, smart fights. He's like, we want to see bangers. We want to see guys going out there and really getting their wins through trial and tribulation. We don't care if you have a 9-0, 10-0 record. If they're all puds, we're going to watch your video and we're going to know that. So I think for me, I want to take smart fights, of course, but I really want to make these fights fun and worth the time. So I believe I can fight anywhere between 135 and, if I can go down, maybe to catch weight at 130 or go up catch weight at 140, maybe even 145. I'm open-minded to it all. At the end of the day, I'd love to dominate every fight I take, every weight class if that was possible. But, I'm very open-minded, and I just love fighting, man. So,
speaking of you loving fighting, not looking past Jonathan at all, you already got your next fight scheduled for TWC also.
Yes, yep. I'll be fighting Pancho Sewer out of TWC in May. It was kind of I don't know. Pete hit me up very early about the May fights, and I told him, I'd love to be on the TWC card again. That is one place where I'd really like to staple myself in.
They have a
at
fantastic
135.
promotion. The way they put everything together, it's for the fans aspect, it's an awesome promotion to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. TWC is awesome. That is one place where they build their champions on who's performing, I do believe, instead of, building the marketable guy always. I think they really do. Pete does a really good job of just getting the best matchups he possibly can. So
now, if I'm not mistaken, Pancho is out of, at least when I originally seen him fight, he was out of Sudu Thai out in Hazel Park.
Yes. Yep. As far as I know, this guy, he did a lot of kickboxing.
Yeah, I think he's a 3-0 in pro kickboxing.
Yeah, yep. So I look forward to it, man. Both these guys are strikers, both Jonathan and Pancho. I think John has a Muay Thai base, and Pancho has that, whether it be American or Dutch kickboxing base. I didn't get to fight a ton of strikers in the MMA sense back as an amateur, but I took a lot of striking competitions on the side to try to fill in for that. So it's going to be awesome being able to be in the cage and work with guys who will stand. And, I truly believe it's my turn to finally showcase my striking a little bit and show what I've learned and gained over the past couple of years.
Speaking of the amateur level, the last amateur fight I seen you fight, I don't know if it was your last one, was the fight for TFC when you fought Mike Shinovar.
Yes.
You guys put on an absolute war for that fight.
Man, that was a crazy fight. Like I said before, I never, I fought through injuries and stuff. I actually had a rib injury at that point. And going into the fight, we had, it was supposed to be a 3-round fight. Well, no other bantamweights showed up to do the whole state tournament thing that they had set up. And so they were like, hey, all we really have is Mike. You guys can fight. and then we'll put up a title for it if you want. And I was like, oh, awesome. So we ended up with a 5-round fight rather than a 3-round fight. And man, I tell you what, that kid is tough as nails, man. I threw every submission I had at that guy, and he was able to escape. Or at the end of one round, I had a knee bar, and the bell rang. But I mean, that was awesome, man. I ended up losing the fight off a decision, but I was more than happy to fight that guy. I needed that. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, for a fan, like another fight that I watched you fight, that was, awesome for the fans. So 2 fights that I've personally seen you fight, none of them been letdowns. So I know this fight here coming up with John is going to be another fight that the fans are not going to be let down on. There's a little bit of bad blood, and you got 2 competitors who come out to fight.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate that too. Like I said, I'm here to fight. I love putting on a show for the fans. At the end of the day, I'm just as much an entertainer as a fighter. And obviously, selling tickets, and that's all part of the game here now. So, yeah, man, I appreciate that. I'm ready to fight for sure.
What can the fans expect this Saturday coming up?
Really, man, I'm ready to take the fight wherever. I primarily won most of my fights as an amateur on the ground, submitting guys. I think out of 17 wins, I had 14 submission finishes. So, I'm no stranger to the ground if it ends up there, but standing, I think, honestly, the fans are going to get more of a standing fight than a ground fight. I have, like I said, I can take the fight wherever. Every fight starts standing. This guy truly talked a lot about his stand-up in all of his posts online. And like I said, I just think he's overconfident maybe, or overlooking me. So it seems to me like that's where we're going to end up. I'd like to keep it there if we can, for the most part at least. Especially if all my gears are turning and everything's firing. No point in going to the ground. Keep it standing. Look for a knockout.
Awesome. Well, Anthony, we're going to let you go here. Is there any sponsors or anything you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah. First, I want to give a shout out to Printer Source Plus, Joe Sharp. He's really stuck by me and had my back every step of the way, even before I was going professional. Same thing with Jenko Boot Shop and Andy Jenko. Guys both take care of me. And then Signal 88 Security, not only my employer, but they hopped on board finally, and are getting ready to sponsor me now too. Both the Adrian and Grand Rapids divisions came together for me. And then Crestview Tax Shop out of Mason, Michigan. Those guys always had my back and have been really helping on the business end of things for me as well. So Ski Taylor and all those guys out there.
Awesome. Right. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, you have a good day and good luck Saturday, man.
Thank you, man. I hope to see you guys there.
All right.
Definitely.